Welcome back to another episode of The Retro Gambler. Today I'm gonna review the 3DO system, some of its controllers and also some of the games. And let's go!
I wanna play video games. I wanna play them all day. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Now the history of 3DO starts back in the year 1991 when Electronic Arts founder Trip Hawkins decided to leave the company to found another company called the 3DO. And what they tried to do was to create a next generation console and also an entertaining center. And they did something very unusual because they created the technology and the hardware, but they never released a console of their own. They sold the rights to make the consoles to other companies, and anytime a console was developed or a game was released, those companies had to pay royalties to 3DO. And the companies who bought the rights were Panasonic, Goldstar, Sanyo, Samsung and Creative. And in the year 1993 the first model reached the market. It was the Panasonic Real 3DO Interactive Multiplayer Model FC1, and the retail price was $699 back in the year 1993. So it was very expensive, and with inflation this system would cost today around $1,000. And basically this was one of the first mistakes 3DO did to fail so miserably. And yeah, they tried to they lowered the price in the year 1994 down to $499, which was still expensive, but other companies released their systems like Goldstar, this one, or the Sanyo Tri, which was only released in Japan. Samsung produced a system and I saw some footage, but I don't think they ever released it. And then there was also another system from Panasonic, the FC10, which was the only top loading system. All the other systems were front loading systems. And yeah, Panasonic released also the 3DO Robo in Japan, but it was only built for hotel rooms because it could hold up to 5 CDs at a time. And what they did was basically they took a FC1 model and built a 5 CD disc changer around it. And yeah, you could choose one of the titles and the disc changer puts the disc into the FC1. This was the whole idea. And in 1995 Creative released an ISA compatibility card for the PC, and you could play 3DO games on your PC. They also wanted to make an upcoming system, the M2, which was never released. There were only some prototypes built, and it was a 64-bit system, but it was never built, or better, it was never released for the market because 3DO couldn't compete with other systems like the Sega Saturn and also the Sony PlayStation, which both came out in 1994. And the technology of the 3DO system was not up to par to those both systems. Yeah, in 1996 they stopped producing the consoles and they changed to become video game developers for other systems like the PlayStation, the PC and yeah, other consoles. Okay, why this system failed so miserably? First of all, yeah, the first system that hit the market with the retail price of $699, which was way too expensive, but yeah, it wasn't supposed to be just a video game console. It was supposed to be an entertaining center, and the 3DO could play not only the 3DO games, it could also play movie CDs, interactive CDs, photo CDs and audio CDs. It was the first 32-bit system. It was also the first video console which had an audio visualizer, which is very cool, and yeah, I guess it was amazing at that time. And also the video game developers were more interested in creating titles for the Sega Saturn or the Sony PlayStation, and I guess there are other reasons why the system failed so miserably, and some people would also say that the 3DO system was the worst video game console that were ever made, and most of the games are just bad. But I think it's a very cool system, very underrated system, and also there are very good games out there for this system, and I hope I can show you some of the good games today. Also some of the bad games, so you can see good, average and bad ones. But first let's take a look of the consoles, and then we continue with the controls. Now I only have two systems. I have the Gold Star version and the Panasonic FC10, and let's check them out. Okay, now here we have the Gold Star model. It's got a nice design. It looks more like an old VCR. It's not as pretty as the Panasonic FC1, but it's okay. On the left side you have the power button, and on the right side you have the button to open and close the CD-ROM drive. Over here you have the controller port. Now every 3DO has only one controller port. But instead of buying any accessory, if you wanted to play with more than one player, every controller has a controller port on the front side, and if you wanted to play with more than one player, then you had to daisy chain them together, and you could hook up to 8 controllers at the same time. But I don't know which game supports 8 players. The only game I knew that supports 6 players is FIFA Soccer. Now you also don't have any memory card slots or something, because the system has an internal memory unit which has 32 kilobytes. It's not much, but it was much at that time. Okay, let's come to the rear end of the system. Let's start on the left side. There you have your expansion port, then a channel select, RF out, S-video and your composite RCA. And the power cable is hardwired, so if something's wrong with the power cable or the power unit, then the whole console is broke. And you also have on the right side a second expansion port, and this extension port was used for a video adapter, and the rear one was supposed for a memory unit which could hold up to 265 kilobytes. This is very rare, the memory unit, and also the video adapter, if you can find one on eBay or any other site. I only saw one picture for the Gold Star video adapter, but yeah, this is basically the 3DO Gold Star. And here we have the Panasonic FC10. Now on the front, as you can see, also just one controller port. It's the top loading system, so you just push it and it opens the CD drive. And on the left side you have the power button. On the back you have your S-video, then the composite RCA, the expansion port for the memory unit, and over here you plug the power cable in. And on the right side you have the expansion port for the video adapter. Now what I also forgot to mention is that every 3DO system is region free, so you can play all the import titles, and it could also play CDRs. So you could burn CD games on CDR CDs and just put it in there and you can play it. There's no copy protection whatsoever, but for me as a collector I go with the real stuff. Okay, and I was also able to manage to get myself one of the VC adapters for the FC10. Now you might wonder, why do you need the video CD adapter? Because I mentioned earlier that the 3DO system could play movie CDs, but they never actually made real movie CDs. I searched the internet, the only titles I found were free Woody Woodpecker cartoon CDs, which are very rare, one of the rarest titles for the 3DO, and also just some adult titles for the system, which were actually 3DO video CDs. But to watch the real video CDs like those, you had to buy one of these. And yeah, that's all from the system. Let's continue with the controls.